Okay, so there you see the opening, what do we want to call it? The opening DVD menu, we'll say, for Salt, the new Angelina Jolie movie. But this is the, I'll do it this way. This is the Japanese Blu Ray. And let's see if I can zoom in here and show you guys some of the stuff. So, if you get Blu-rays in Japan, I just rented this last night, using my PlayStation. Sony PS3 is my Blu-ray player. Let's see here. Oh, yep, no, it should be working, alright. Trying to hold the camera and do this at the same time is... There we go. So let's go over to languages. So you see the audio, subtitles pops up. And if you go to audio, for instance, you've got a couple English options. And... so, you guys probably aren't going to be able to read this. That says Japanese, German, Hindi, Turkish. So, obviously this is a DVD that's made for the international market. Let's go back down. Oops, wrong menu. No, thank you. So, basically I just wanted to show you when you hit... Whoa! Look at that. I'm just hitting all the wrong buttons here. Hold on, let me do this here. Okay, no. So if you hit play movie, let's see if I can zoom in, maybe you'll get a little bit of it. You've got the theatrical version, a director's cut, and an extended cut on this particular disc. And then when you pick, say, the director's cut, you get another box. Play with added footage marker, play with movie IQ, and just play. And if you play with added footage marker, for instance, I really hate the PlayStation controller as my Blu-ray thing. So you get this whole thing where you can watch it and see all kinds of stuff. Then a little marker pops up. So basically, Salt, the whole reason I'm doing this review is that I was on Amazon today because it's kind of Black Friday, but obviously in Japan it's already Saturday. But I just wanted to see what kind of deals there were, and I said, oh, you know, this is pretty good. Maybe I should buy it and give it to a friend for Christmas. But it's not out in America. It doesn't come out on DVD in America until the 21st of December. Oh, excuse me. So it's one of those weird instances where it came out last week here in Japan, so about a month before you guys get it, I got it. So it was the interesting thing was after I hadn't seen this movie at the theater, so I watched the, you know, I was like, well, what's the difference between these three cuts? So I was like, well, I'll just watch the extended cut. That should be the like the longest one, right? You know, like it should just have everything the theatrical cut had and then bonus footage. So that's what I did. So don't worry too much about renting stuff, etc. here in Japan. You know, the menus tend to be in English. And if they're not, if they're in Japanese, often the Japanese is katakana, like starto, you know, things like that. It's really chapter. You know, it's very easy to figure out. And I mean, they're in the same place they would be on the menu, you know, so it's really easy. So don't worry if you come over and you want to watch movies that you rent here. The reason I've moved over to Blu-ray mostly is because any Blu-ray I buy here I can take back to America, and Blu-rays I get from America play here in Japan on this Japanese PlayStation. But anyway, so I wanted to have some spoilers as I make my discussion, so I'm going to hold up this card. If I have this card up, that means I'm talking about a spoiler. If you don't want to see a spoiler, then if you don't want to hear the spoiler, then wait until this card is down again, and then I'm not talking about spoilers. I figured that was a way to do it. So I didn't see this movie in the theater. Let me turn it down a little bit. I doubt you can barely hear that, right? I missed it in the theater. I think it was out kind of as I was moving back to Japan, etc. So I was eager to see it, and I saw it, and rented it, and so I said, okay, I'll watch the extended cut. So if you saw it in the movies, the changes are interesting. They're not just like added scenes or deleted scenes put back in. They're actually change, I think, the intent of the character and the tone of the film quite a bit. So my first spoiler is on the scene in the barge where her husband dies. Because I've gone back now and watched certain scenes in the other cuts. I didn't rewatch the entire movie, but in the scene where she walks into the room and somebody's got a gun to her husband, and before she can do anything, they just shoot him, and he's dead. And she doesn't react, and that's good enough for her to pass the test of, you know, she's back with the Russians. Well, in the director's cut and the extended cut, she walks in and he's like in a lower part of the ship, and they open this hatch, and then they fill it with water slowly, and he drowns while she watches. And she could have maybe jumped in or tried to kill everybody and, you know, something, but she just watches him die. And so it's interesting because at that point in the movie I'm like, this is interesting, because it's like, how do you generate sympathy for this character now? Because, you know, she's at that point in the movie, you think she's actually killed the Russian president, and now she's just let her husband die. So you're like, okay. So that's an interesting switch. And I think that changes, you know, the likability of the character. So perhaps that's why they changed it. I don't know which scene was filmed first. Then, next spoiler, in both the director's cut and the theatrical version, she then goes out and kills the Russian mastermind that kind of like made her into who she is on the boat. Well, in the extended cut, that happens at the very end of the movie, and he's still alive when she meets Liv Schreiber, the double agent, you know, that's posing as a CIA guy in the bunker. So that some dialogue in there has changed. And the other major change is the whole ending. The helicopter sequence where she escapes is not in the extended cut. She ends up in a hospital and fakes suicide with like a cyanide capsule in her tooth, and then she escapes. And then she goes to Russia to find the guy, and as she's killing him, she's like, now I'm free. So her whole motivation is slightly different. And it really makes, I think the extended cut is way more interesting than the theatrical version. So having watched it first, maybe that colored my perception a little bit. But I'd be interested to see what you guys think after you get a chance to see them, which version you like the best. And I highly recommend it. It's a good action movie. It's solid. Angelina Jolie kicks ass. And is fairly believable in the role despite some of the crazy things they have her do. None more crazy though in the theatrical version where they have her jump into the freezing Potomac? Oh God, I can't say the name of that river in Washington D.C. The Potomac. They have her jump into the freezing Potomac River, and of course she gets out and she's running in like snow barefoot. Yeah, that's she's not going to get hypothermia. But anyway, it is interesting, and I didn't know much about it before I watched it, so I was pleasantly surprised as it went along. You know, it delivers as an action film. So I recommend it. When you guys get a chance to see it, let me know what you think about the different cuts, and yay for Japan, I guess, for once we get to see something early. Alright, so thanks. One more shot of Angelina there with her, I'm assuming that was a blonde wig, because she has short hair at the end of the movie, right? So my guess is she had short hair through the whole movie, and they made her wear the long black wig and the long blonde wig. But anyway, yeah, Blu Ray. It's cool. I'm enjoying renting stuff and getting stuff here in Japan, so thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.